Hello, I'm a Greek geek because I'm 50% Greek and 100% a geek. Now, I think this show kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people. I don't really see that many people reviewing it and talking about it. I've been meaning to talk about it for a couple of weeks now because I finished watching it a couple of weeks ago, but you know me, it takes me forever to do anything and procrastinating is my favorite hobby. So, let's get into Wu Assassins. So the plot is that in San Francisco, a chef becomes involved with the Triad's quest to get these supernatural powers called the Wu Xing, which gives them the power over the Chinese elements. And he eventually becomes the Wu Assassin and is imbued with the power of Mark Dacascos and hunts them down. And that's the plot.
Since the beginning of time, the Wu warlords have brought suffering and death to our world. But 1,000 monks sacrificed themselves to empower a chosen one to stop them.
Iko Uwais, who you might know from the Raid 1, Raid 2, and many other martial arts films, he plays Kai Jin, which is the guy who gets imbued with the power of the Wu Assassin. I wasn't expecting tremendously great acting from Iko Uwais, especially in a movie where he's speaking English. English isn't his first language, but he does a well enough job for this show. Byron Mann plays Uncle Six. I don't think that's a Chinese name, Uncle Six, but he's easily my favorite character in the whole show. He plays this kind of suave, smooth-talking, intelligent, but also very menacing leader of the Triads with the power of the Fire Wu. And he is also the adopted father of Kai Jin, and Kai Jin has to take him down, so that creates a lot of conflict and drama, really, and that's very good to see. And the rest of Kai Jin's friends and family, they were all pretty bland to me, and the other side characters as well. They just join Kai Jin and help him on his quest, or they're off doing their own things, trying to overcome their own issues and that. Some aspects of that was interesting to see, but for me, a lot of it really fell flat. Mark Dacascos plays one of the monks that is in the body of Kai Jin. It's kind of hard to explain. When Kai Jin assumes the mantle of the Wu Assassin, whenever he's in action, it's implied that his face becomes the face of the monk, which is Mark Dacascos. He doesn't have an actual name, he's just called the monk. And I find it funny that they keep calling him the chef that keeps attacking people, and Mark Dacascos was the Iron Chef in America back in I think it was the early or mid 2000s.
And now, let the battle begin!
I would have liked to have seen more of Mark Dacascos doing more martial arts because he is a phenomenal martial artist, even though he's getting on in years now. Iko Uwais is also very talented as a martial artist, so I wish they kind of split it more 50-50, but anyway, we got what we got. Other than Uncle Six, who is the Fire Wu, we have Alec McCullough, sorry. Even names that I should be able to pronounce, I cannot pronounce. I just can't pronounce names, I'm sorry. He plays the Wood Wu, and he easily gets like the second most development in the show. We get his backstory and how he became the Wood Wu and all that, so he's more fleshed out. The rest of them are just kind of glanced over. Like you have the Water Wu, you have the Earth Wu, and you have the Metal Wu, but we don't really learn that much about them. The last three are pretty much one... The Earth Wu gets one episode and is gone. The Metal Wu and the Water Wu, they get 2 episodes and they're done. And that is the final 2 episodes, and they get next to no development, no motivation. They show up and then they're gone. And the Water Wu is played by Summer Glau, who you might know from Firefly and Serenity, and that Terminator TV show that nobody remembers. I would have liked to have seen more of her in the show, but we hardly ever see her. So, what can you do?
Come on. I like one. For what?
The acting, I feel, can be very mixed at times. It's good for the most part, but sometimes it can be pretty bad. As I said before, Iko Uwais, English not his first language. I imagine that must be very hard. I couldn't imagine acting in a secondary language. That's hard enough as it is, I think. I am a huge fan of Mark Dacascos. He is a phenomenal martial artist, and he really doesn't really get to do that much. It's still mostly Iko Uwais doing most of the action, but Byron Mann stands out to me as the best performance in this show. I liked his performance as a charismatic and intimidating Triad leader. That was fun. That was good. But everyone else was just, kind of okay, I guess. But in a show where martial arts is the main focus, that's gonna be the bigger focus. The action, obviously, is the best thing about the show. The martial arts that's displayed in the show is very good, very high caliber. A lot of these people that are in this show are very talented martial artists, and that shows. We see a lot of good fighting technique and choreographing, and there's even locks and that kind of thing, and a bit of jiu-jitsu grappling in the show, which is good to see as well. They really diversify the type of martial arts that's shown in this show. Of course, being in the 21st century, there's guns as well, and I noticed I don't think I saw a single gun being reloaded. This was going full 80s action flick where apparently everybody has unlimited ammo. Not a big issue, just something I notice in movies now when someone doesn't reload a gun and I know how many bullets should be in that gun. And the Wu Xing have interesting powers as well, like we have the Fire Wu, the Wood Wu, the Water Wu, the Metal Wu, and the Earth Wu. They display very interesting powers, like shooting fireballs, obviously, but like having this fire snake trail thing burn down a building. The Earth Wu like creates like a statue of himself that kind of holds someone in place, and he can manipulate out of it and that kind of thing. The Water Wu, she could like fill someone's lungs with water or took away the water out of his body or something like that. Not really sure what happened, but it seemed really cool. Those powers are really good to see. They did them quite well in this show. And also, while the martial arts is very good, it's very shaky at times. I think a lot of the martial arts scenes, they were filmed with a handheld camera. So a bit shaky, not really stable, and sometimes can get a little bit too close. I think it really needed to take a step back, a bit more of a wider shot, and sitting in place on a tripod or something like that, so we could actually see the action a bit better. That was my one complaint with the action. Otherwise, it was superb. So the first half of the show really takes its time with introducing the concept, the characters and their motivations and their backstories and that kind of thing. And then everything is just crammed into the last few episodes that could have been spread out a bit more evenly. As I said before, the Wu Xing, most of them don't get introduced until the later episodes of the show. And they had plenty of time to introduce them earlier and just build them up as antagonists and people that need to be taken down and have them do more, especially because they're good actors that portray them. Yeah, I would have liked the Wu Lords to get a bit more time and be explored a bit more. So if you enjoy kind of supernatural martial arts TV shows, I know there's not a lot of those around at the moment, you will enjoy this show, even if you're just a fan of action or martial arts, or even if just the concept of this TV show sounds very interesting to you. Check it out. Honestly, check it out. You can watch it on Netflix. 10 episodes, I guarantee you will enjoy most aspects of this show. And, as always, thank you very much for listening to me ramble on about a TV show for a few minutes. I really do appreciate it. Thank you again. I'll catch you next time.